The first black SUV rolled in slowly. Its engine did not roar. It whispered. Marcus Reed froze with his hand on the door. Then another SUV pulled in behind it. Then another. By the time the fourth arrived, the street was sealed. 5 black SUVs, windows, tinted engines. Running curtains shifted across the neighborhood. Door stayed closed. Mrs. Patterson from 3B peeked through her blinds. Mr. Chun stopped watering his plants. The teenagers on the corner scattered. Marcus felt his chest tighten. His breath came short. His pulse hammered inside the apartment. 8-year-old Jaden sat at the kitchen table. His math homework lay open, pencil in hand, eyes wide. Dad, why are there so many cars? Marcus did not answer. His mouth went dry. His hands trembled because he already knew what those vehicles meant. Authority, power, and never good news. 5 black SUVs do not show up for a poor black man by accident. They come with warrants. They come with questions. They come with assumptions already made. Marcus had seen it before, seen men led away in handcuffs, seen families torn apart, seen lives destroyed, all starting with vehicles just like these. He thought about running, but where would he go and what would that teach his son? So he stood there, frozen, waiting. The doors opened. Asterisk. 24 hours earlier, Marcus still had a job, not a good one, not a fair one, but it paid just enough. Warehouse security, night shift, steel toe boots, long hours. He stood on concrete all night, watching cameras, checking doors, walking endless corridors. The fluorescent lights buzzed, the cold air bit, the silence pressed down. He did it because his son needed him, because bills do not care about exhaustion, because single fathers do not get breaks. Marcus had been there 3 years, never late, never complained, never asked for favors. He worked holidays, he worked weekends, he worked doubles when they needed him. He thought loyalty mattered. Then that morning, his supervisor called him in. Marcus, we need to talk. The tone was flat, the eyes were cold. Then HR arrived, then another manager, 3 white faces, 3 calm voices, 3 sets of folded hands. They told him equipment was missing, laptops, tablets, stools. They told him witnesses saw him take it. They slid a paper across the desk. Termination effective immediately. Marcus said the truth. I did not steal anything, have never stolen anything. Check the cameras, ask anyone. No one responded. No questions, no investigation, no presumption of innocence, just silence. A black man accused and already judged. You can leave now. The HR woman said. Her voice was professional. Her smile was thin. Marcus stood. His legs felt weak. His vision blurred. What about my final check? You will receive it by mail, she said. Marcus looked at each of them. You know this is wrong. The supervisor looked away. The manager checked his phone. The HR woman opened another folder. Marcus walked out. No badge, no paycheck, no way to explain it to his son. The security guard at the exit, a young white kid named Tyler, looked embarrassed. Man, I am sorry, Tyler whispered. Marcus nodded. He could not speak outside. The sun was too bright. The air was too thick. Marcus sat at the bus stop, hungry, tired, angry. His stomach felt hollow. He had worked through lunch yesterday. Breakfast was 2 days ago. He counted his money. $18. That was dinner. That was breakfast. That was gas if he could borrow a car. That was everything. The streetlight above him flickered on, off. On someone sat beside him, a woman, late 30s, tired eyes, worn jacket. Her hands shook as she counted coins again and again. Quarters, dimes, pennies. She was short way, short. Excuse me, she said softly. Her voice cracked. I am sorry to bother you, but I do not have enough for the bus. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought about Jaden. He thought about dinner. He thought about tomorrow. He already knew what he had to do because this is who he was, even when the world was cruel, even when he had nothing, even when it made no sense. He opened his wallet. $18 too. 10s, 8 ones. If he gave it away, Jaden would ask questions. If he kept it, this woman would be stranded. Marcus handed her the money, all of it. Her breath caught. Oh my God, he cannot take this. Please, Marcus said, just take it. She stared at the bills like they were oxygen, like they were hope. My name is Evelyn, she said. Tears filled her eyes. I will pay you back. I promise I will find you. Marcus nodded. He did not believe her. People said things, made promises, then disappeared. The bus arrived. She boarded and disappeared. Marcus walked 4 miles home, each step heavier than the last. His feet ached. His back screamed. His mind raced. What had he done? Jaden would need dinner. The rent was due in 5 days. The electric company had sent warnings and he just gave away everything. But he could not regret it because that woman was drowning and he threw her a rope, even if it meant he went under. Asterisk. Jaden was already asleep when Marcus got home. The neighbor, Mrs. Kim, had fed him mac and cheese apple slices. No charge. She was a widow, 70 years old. Kind eyes. Marcus knocked on her door. Thank you, he said. She touched his arm. You are a good father, she said. Marcus wanted to believe her. He checked on Jaden. His son slept with his mouth open, one arm hanging off the bed, his favorite dinosaur tucked under his chin. Marcus stood in the doorway. I I'm sorry, he whispered. Sorry for the missed meals. Sorry for the worry. Sorry for not being enough. Bills covered the kitchen table rent. Due electric warning, water notice, red ink everywhere. Marcus did not sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling counting problems. No job, no money, no plan at 3 a.m. He made a decision. He would sell his TVHI's laptop, his watch, whatever it took at 8:15. The next morning there was a knock, not loud, not rushed, controlled, purposeful. Marcus opened the door, his heart dropped 5 black. SUVs lined the street. Men and women in suits stood on his lawn. Neighbors watched from windows, and walking toward him was the woman from the bus stop. Only now she looked different, powerful, confident, unshakable. Designer suit, perfect hair, security detail. Good morning, Marcus, she said. Her voice carried authority. Jaden peeked around the corner. Daddy, who are they? Marcus could not speak. Evelyn knelt down. Hi, Jaden, I am Evelyn. She smiled. Her whole face changed. Jaden smiled back. You look important. Evelyn laughed. So, can we come in? She asked. Marcus stepped aside. The apartment suddenly felt smaller. Evelyn sat at his kitchen table. 2 assistants stood by the door. Inside, she told Marcus everything. Last night I had a meeting downtown, high stakes, big deal. Someone inside my company set me up. They drugged my coffee, stole my car, took my wallet, my phone, everything. I woke up in an alley. No idea, no money, no way. Home. Daniel Brooks, my CFO. He has been planning this for months. The assistants shifted. Evelyn continued. I built my company from nothing, started in my garage, worked 90-hour weeks, sacrificed everything. Now it is worth millions. 80 employees, 15 states, international clients, and Daniel wanted. I've thought if I disappeared, if I looked unstable, he could take over. She looked at Marcus. When I had nothing, when I was desperate, you gave me everything. Why? Marcus exhaled slowly. Because you looked like you were breaking, and I know that feeling. I know what it is like to need help and have no one offer it. Evelyn nodded. I did my research last night. I know you were fired. I know it was a lie. I know the supervisor has a history. I know you are raising your son alone. She slid a folder across the table. A job offer, operations manager, real pay, benefits, stability. I need someone I can trust, she said. Someone who does the right thing, even when it costs them everything. Marcus looked at Jaden. His son was watching cartoons, eating cereal. Safe. Then back at Evelyn. Yes, he said. When do I start? Monday, she said. But first we need to fix something. She made a call by noon. Marcus had a meeting with a lawyer. By evening, his former employer received a letter. Wrongful termination, discrimination. They settled within a week. Marcus started on Monday. The office was downtown, glass and steel views of the city. His own desk, his own computer, business cards with his name. People shook his hand, asked his opinion, treated him with respect. It felt surreal. Evelyn walked him through everything: the company structure, the client list, the financials, and the problem. Daniel Brooks had been stealing for over a year. Fake vendors, inflated costs as phantom contracts, small amounts at first, then bigger, then bolder. The robbery was his escape plan. Make Evelyn look unstable, take control of the company, drain the accounts, disappear. But he did not expect Evelyn to survive, and he definitely did not expect Marcus worked late nights. He followed numbers, tracked invoices, cross-referenced dates, found patterns. Every fake vendor had the same bank. Every inflated cost went through the same account. Every phantom contract was signed on a Friday. Daniel was meticulous, but he was not perfect. Marcus built the case page by page, line by line. Evelyn brought in forensic accountants. They confirmed everything. The total, over $3 million. The police came on a Wednesday. Detectives, fraud division, white-collar crimes. They arrested Daniel at his desk. He was on a call with a client, laughing, confident. The handcuffs click. Daniel Brooks, you are under arrest. His face went white as they led him away. He glared at Marcus. You got lucky, he said. Evelyn shook her head. No, she said. We got the truth. Marcus felt something new. Respect, vindication. For once, the system listened. For once, the good guy won. Marcus learned fast. He attended meetings, negotiated contracts, managed teams. People listened when he spoke. His ideas mattered. His input was valued. His presence made a difference. Jaden stopped asking if there would be food. The fridge was full, the pantry stocked, the bills paid on time. They moved to a new apartment, 2 bedrooms, a real kitchen, windows that actually opened. Jaden had his own space, his own desk, his own bookshelf. Marcus enrolled him in a better school, smaller classes, real resources, teachers who cared. Jaden thrived. His grades improved. His confidence grew. His smile came back. Evelyn came to school events, parent teacher conferences, science fairs, soccer games. She sat beside Marcus, cheered for Jaden, acted like family. Something grew between them, quiet, steady, real. They worked together during the day, had dinner together at night. Evelyn taught Jaden chess. Marcus taught Evelyn to cook soul food. They laughed, they talked, they healed. One night after Jaden went to bed. Marcus and Evelyn sat on the balcony. The city lights sparkled below. The air was cool. Marcus told her the truth. I love youth. Words hung there. Evelyn smiled, tears in her eyes. Have been waiting for you to say that because I love you too. They kissed, soft, sweet, perfect. Jaden watched from the doorway. Does this mean we are family? As Evelyn said, if you want us to be. Jaden ran over. They held him, the three of them together. Months later, Marcus drove past the same bus stop, the same flickering streetlight, the same worn bench, the same tired neighborhood. Someone else sat there now, young man, early 20s, head in his hands. Marcus slowed the car. He saw himself in that young man, saw the defeat, the exhaustion, the fear. He pulled over. Evelyn looked at him. You are going to help him? Marcus nodded. Always. He walked over. The young man looked up, wary, guarded. Marcus sat down. Rough day. The young man laughed bitterly. Rough life. Marcus understood. I used to sit right here. He said, lost my job, lost my hope, had my last $18 in my pocket. The young man looked at him. What happened? I met someone. Marcus said, someone who needed help. I gave her everything I had, and she changed my life. The young man shook his head. That does not happen. Sometimes it does, Marcus said. He pulled out his wallet, handed the young man $200. What is this a chance? Marcus said. He gave him a business card. Come to this address Monday morning. Ask for me. We are hiring. The young man stared. Why? Because someone did this for me, Marcus said. And now I am doing it for youth. Young man started crying. Thank you, Marcus. Stood. See you Monday. He walked back to the car. Evelyn was smiling. You are a good man, she said. I learn from the best. Marcus replied. At home, Jaden was doing homework. Evelyn made dinner. Marcus set the table. They ate together, laughed together, planned together later. That night, Marcus tucked Jaden in bed. Jaden said, are we going to be okay? Marcus kissed his forehead. We are going to be more than okay, he said, because we have something special. What? Jaden asked each other. Marcus said, and that is everything. 6 months later, they got married. Small ceremony, close friends, real joy. Jaden was the ring bearer. He wore a suit, walked with pride, smiled the whole time. Mrs. Kim was there. Tyler from the warehouse, the young man from the bus stop. Evelyn wore white. Marcus wore his best suit. They said their vows through tears, through laughter, through hope. I promise to love you, Marcus said. Through everything, I promise to be your family. Evelyn said forever. Jaden stood between them. We promise to be a family, he said. The guests cheered afterward. They danced. Marcus held Evelyn close. Thank you, he whispered, for seeing me, for trusting me, for loving me. Kissed him. Thank you for being you. Year later, they started a foundation, Second Chances. It helped people like Marcus, like Evelyn, like the young man at the bus stop, people who lost jobs unfairly, people who needed help, people who deserved better. They hired investigators, lawyers, advocates. They fought wrongful terminations. They provided emergency funds. They created job training programs. Jaden helped at 9 years old. He volunteered, sorted donations, greeted clients. He understood what his father had been through, and he wanted to help others. Foundation grew. More funding, more staff, more impact. Hundreds of people, then thousands. Each one a life changed. Family saved, a future restored. Marcus stood at events, told his story about losing everything, about giving his last $18, about how kindness saved him. People listened, they donated, they volunteered, they believed. 2 years after that first morning, Marcus drove past his old warehouse. The building looked the same, but everything else had changed. He parked, walked to the entrance, the same security desk, the same fluorescent lights, the same cold air. Tyler was still there. Marcus? Reed. Tyler said. His eyes went wide. I heard about you, about everything. Marcus smiled. Can I speak to your supervisor? Tyler hesitated. He still works here. I know, Marcus said. The supervisor came down. His face went pale when he saw Marcus. We need to talk, Marcus said. They sat in the break room. Marcus laid out documents, evidence of discrimination, pattern of wrongful terminations, always black employees, always false accusations. I could sue Marcus. SEID, I could ruin you. The supervisor swallowed hard. What? Do you want change? Marcus said. Real change, new policy, sensitivity, training, diverse hiring, accountability, or I go to the press. The supervisor nodded. We will do it. Marcus stood. Good, because no one else should go through what I did. He walked out, head high, dignity intact. Marcus learned something through all of this. Kindness does not guarantee safety, but it reveals who you are. The woman at the bus stop could have been anyone. She could have taken the money and disappeared forever, but she was Evelyn, and Evelyn was someone who remembered, someone who kept promises, someone who believed in reciprocity. Marcus could have kept his $18, could have walked past, could have said no, could have protected himself, but he gave it anyway because that is who he was. Even broke, even desperate, even afraid, he chose kindness, and kindness chose him back. Not immediately, not magically, but eventually, powerfully. Your last $18 is not always the end. Sometimes it is the beginning of A new job, new family, a new life, but more than that, it is a choice to be the person you want to be even when the world is cruel, even when you have nothing, even when no one is watching. Marcus understood this now. He taught it to Jaden. He lived it every day, and when people asked him what changed your life, he never said luck, he never said fate, he said choice I chose to give when I had nothing, and that choice changed everything, asterisk. Jaden was 13, now all confident kind. He volunteered every weekend, helped. His parents excelled in school. He remembered the hard times, the empty fridge, the worried looks, the fear, but he also remembered the lesson that kindness matters, that integrity matters, that who you are matters more than what you have. Marcus and Evelyn grew. The foundation offices in 10 cities, programs in 20 states, thousands of lives changed. They never forgot where they started. A bus stop, $18, a desperate moment. They kept a photo in their office, the old bus stop, the flickering light, a reminder of what is possible when you choose kindness, when you see someone drowning and throw them a rope, even if it means you might go under, because sometimes your last $18, your final act of kindness, your moment of sacrifice is not the end, is the beginning of everything.